Welcome back to The Truth Is. So this is going to be part 3 of the tough topics. So in part 1 and 2 we covered from Genesis 1 up to Genesis 8, chapter 8. Right now, when the flood subsides and Noah is going back on the earth and God told him, be fruitful and multiply. Go out on the earth and make this thing happen again for me, because he found favor in him. So Noah went out and he looked upon everything, and God said, I'm going to bring you a covenant. This covenant in the form of a bow in the sky, a rainbow, to let you know that no longer will I have the idea of flooding this earth and destroying it again. That happened, and I won't make it happen again. I'll look upon my covenant to you when you see the bow in the sky, and I'll remember my promise not to flood the earth again. So go and be fruitful and multiply, and go ahead and populate the earth again. So he became a gardener and a farmer and began to do what God asked, and he created a vineyard. And in this vineyard there was something new that he wasn't familiar with, and he created wine out of the crops that he had. And then he drank it, got drunk, fell down after he made himself naked, was knocked out and blacked out, if you will. And his son came in, Ham, and looked upon his nakedness and went and told the other sons. So dad's naked in there. And they went in walked backwards and put a garment on him. So when he woke up out of his stupor, probably with a hangover, he realized what had happened, and so he cursed his son and blessed the other two. Now from there's a lineage that begins to go down and out from the flood. And there was a man named Cush who had a son named Nimrod. And as they're building and they're developing things, Nimrod takes it upon himself, and it speaks these words. In the Bible it says he was a mighty one, a mighty hunter among the Lord. So we want to look at that in a little bit more detail in a minute. But he went and he developed different cities with masonry. He created bricks and began to build cities. One of them is prominent and is mentioned again, called Nineveh, and the other is Babel or Babylon. And so in this venture of his, he wasn't just a great hunter of animals. That's not what it was. He was a hunter of men. And in the original text, when you look back at the original text, to be a mighty one and a great hunter among the Lord was basically to put it in his face. I'm rebelling against you. He was hunting men. He was building cities with walls to keep people in. He was creating slaves. He was probably sacrificing humans. There's not mention to that. However, other texts will tell you he did these sorts of things. So Nimrod, he had evil in his heart, serious evil. And he said, hey, we're going to build something that will reach us up to the heavens. It sounds a lot like another story you hear in the Bible where someone says, I will ascend above the stars of God, above God. So that someone, the seed of the serpent, had gotten a hold of Nimrod. Now, this video is not about Nimrod. However, if I get a request for it, I'll make a deeper dive video into his life and how all of this spun out of control. But he decided, and the people around him decided with him, they were going to build this tower. And God came down and looked at it and said, they're all of one mind, they're all of one accord, they're all of one language. It's a one world government. It's a one world order. And they're going to go ahead and do whatever they want. And what will stop them at this point? So I'm going to come down and confuse their languages, which in effect will confuse their cultures and shock them. So in Nimrod's life, he had done some pretty vile things, like marry his own mother. And that's, like I said, for another video. However, those things bothered God. And he said, again, I'm ashamed and I'm disappointed, just like I felt before. So let me go ahead and just confuse things. And thus they called it Babel, which was confusion. So now Nimrod's mother was still alive, and that became the beginning of secret societies after the flood. Secret societies still exist to this day. They have their own religion. They believe in their own, they have their own beliefs. There's many different secret societies, but they've become under one umbrella recently in the last few centuries. In fact, the last few millennials, they're coming under one umbrella. So that all started back then, and it leads up to today. And they still practice the same things, the vile things that they practiced back then. But this video was to take you from the flood to the Tower of Babel, where God said, I'm not going to destroy the world the same way, and I'm not even going to destroy it now. I'm going to show mercy, because my story's not over. See, his story in the Old Testament was to lead you to the fact that he was going to send his own Messiah. God himself had to come to earth to give us salvation. Now, the secret societies have their own version of being born again and their own version of salvation. Gnosis, hidden knowledge, secret knowledge, Gnosticism. But God's is through Jesus Christ and what he did. Now, I'll dive deeper into Nimrod, as I said, if someone requests it, because he had a son named Tammuz, which created, or rather developed, the idea of the cross and crucifixion, which led up to what Jesus was crucified on, the cross of Tammuz. But in this video, I just wanted to cover from chapters 8 to 10 in Genesis, roughly. So you can go back and you can dive into those and you can pull out whatever details. And if anyone does request, I'll make a deeper dive on Nimrod and how it connects to the secret societies of today. In fact, I'll even make a video on secret societies if folks request it. But in this particular video, I wanted to let you know what was happening up to that point. And I want to continue on with the story of Jesus, how it led to Jesus having to go to the cross and rising again. So if you're interested, stay tuned. I look forward to making you another video, and I pray that your day would be blessed in Jesus' name.